I want you to talk about actually the title Pastrix. Explain that for us.
Yeah, so pastrix is actually a term of insult that my detractors started to give me because they think women shouldn't be pastors. And so when they would write hateful things about me on their little blogs, they wouldn't use my actual title, which is Pastor Nadia Bolz-Weber. So they started calling me Pastrix Nadia Bolz-Weber. And so then I just thought, well, screw it. I'll just use that as the title of my memoir, which I think technically means I win.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you kind of put him in your place with that one. So your church, I understand, is in downtown Denver. And the name, the House for All Sinners and Saints, is wildly popular. What do you think it is about your church that has people gravitating towards it?
I think it's that, I mean, it's something I'm really curious about myself. I can't say that I have maybe definitive answers about that, but I have a lot of curiosity why these people keep showing up. Because when we started it, it really was mostly like urban young adults, and now it's just expanded. There are all sorts of different kinds of people there. I mean, we have soccer moms who drive in from the suburbs, and we have baby boomers and corporate people, and then we also have a lot of GLBTQ folks and young adults, and I mean, it's just, you walk in, you go, you know what, I am really unclear what all these people have in common. And I think that the thing that they have in common is not so much maybe they all share one particular very specific belief, but I think they all have in common the practice of having an open table. The fact that everyone's welcome to receive the Eucharist in our church is a really central part of who we are together. And so we don't ask people to check part of their personality or part of their story at the door in order to be accepted. I don't have like my pastor personality that I put on at church, right? They have a leader who is just who I am, and I'm not really apologetic about it, and I really want to help create spaces where other people can be who they are too.
And you've been really open about your past drug addiction, and a lot of people, as you say, they appreciate the openness and that space to tell your entire story. But I wonder, is there still maybe a rift between your church and traditional houses of worship?
Well, I don't know that there's a rift. I mean, I think in some ways we're doing the same things, we're just doing them differently. So I have a lot of respect for traditional churches. I can't sort of say, wow, they're really doing everything wrong. I think that those churches really thrived in a cultural context that we see waning, in the cultural context that we are living in now that I think is only going to be, we're going to only see it increase, that millennial context. This is a way of doing church that's native to that. We just had the benefit of being able to start out, 6 years ago, to where we're really rooted in a millennial context rather than quickly trying to adapt to something we don't understand. And you know what? Maybe the way we're doing it will be completely irrelevant in 10 years. I can't really speak to that. I don't know. But right now, this is what's working. And I think one of the things that's really critical to understand is the way in which the people in this congregation are participants, not consumers.
Yeah.
They're helping to create what it is that they're experiencing. They're not passively coming in and consuming a religious product that the authorities have assembled for them, in a sort of patronizing way. Well, so they really are participating in what it is that they're experiencing. I think that's important.